Yo, 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 what's up, Hexicans, RG3? Time for some Discourse Syndicate. How is everybody doing out there today? Man, Hexo had an awesome show. What a comeback, huh? Gets kicked off of YouTube and shows up the very next day on Dlive without missing a beat and is tearing the shit up, man. I mean, I'm so proud of my boy. That guy just killed it. And Dlive, we're on Dlive too. So if you want to go check us out on Dlive, right now I believe it's I'm going to change the name to Discourse Syndicate. I was making accounts and I got it all screwed up like usual. I screw tech shit up all the time. But it's RG3_pirate. And that's how you can find us on Dlive right now. I'm going to change it to Discourse Syndicate, and we'll be up there with Hexo too. I love that platform, man. It's just awesome. You get all the good stuff of YouTube, and then you get a bunch more bells and whistles. I was able to go on there and with my debit card buy some of those lemons and send them over to Hexo right away. So it just boom, boom, boom. You know, none of the KYC stuff or any of that. It was just get some lemons and send it over to them. And I don't know what you can do with them or what, but it was cool to be able to do that inside the chat room. So, of course, like usual, Litecoin Moses isn't here, or he's late. I just talked to him a minute ago. He should be coming on. He's probably got issues with his phone, but the Cutthroats are here backing us up, and our guest is here. So first of all, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring our guest on. This guy has a YouTube stream called Crypto Power Talk, I believe it is right? Crypto Power Talk. And I think that's, I may be wrong. I'll get him on here and I'll say it again because his name's halfway cut off, but I've seen him on YouTube. He's very smart. He knows what he's talking about. He's been in Hex from the beginning, and he's got a story too. He's a world traveler, and he's on YouTube. We're all worried about friggin' YouTube and what they're doing, especially this show, because I'm surprised we're even still up, to be honest, on YouTube. We may not even be after today. But anyway, I'm going to bring up my new buddy, Crypto Power Talk. What's happening?
Hello, RG3.
Man, it's good to see. Look, he's got his California shirt on. Right on, bro. You're obviously not in California, though, right?
No. I just picked it up in the shop. You know, I didn't have anything yellow, so I said, yeah, why not?
Well, I do black on black, so it don't matter, man. It don't matter.
Yeah.
So how you doing? It's late for you, right?
Yeah. 2 a.m.
Dang, man. No, I appreciate you coming on so late. That's cool of you, man.
Thanks for having me. Yeah.
Right on. I'm fired up today, man, because folks, and all you guys know, one of the exchanges out there, I won't say their name, one of the exchanges has been holding my crypto bag, a bag of my crypto for, gosh, 3 months now. They've been holding them hostage, and I've been sending them pictures, and I've been sending them emails, and we've been back and forth, and they want this and they want that. And then this last time, and then, you know, then the ticket will run out. So then they say, oh, you got to resubmit again. And I've been so busy and doing things that I'll get to it and I'll screw it up, and then I won't get back to it. And then I'll have to send a new ticket. So it's been a nightmare. So finally last night I did the multiple side view pictures and all that kind of stuff. And, you know, did all the things that they wanted me to do. And then, sent it to them. They wanted me to tell them how many coins, what type of coins. They wanted my IP addresses that I used to log in. I mean, the list was freaking insane. So I finally got it all to them. And then boom, finally today I got access to my crypto. And of all things, man, I just started throwing it out of there as quick as I could, man. I was pulling it out, finding wallets for it, getting out of the exchange. Man, I got it all, and it's all in Hex now, baby. And we got the bottom too, didn't we?
Yeah, it's a good time to get them out. It's a good time to
Oh
get them
man,
out.
I'm stoked. I am fired up because I have been trying to get those bags out for 3 months, man. And
Wow.
and part of it was my fault for like dropping the ball, but literally they wanted multiple IP addresses and old emails. Now I've been out of this account for over a year now. When I lost my 2FA, and I didn't worry about it. I just left, whatever, I'll get it later. So it's been over a year. They wanted my entry addresses that I used to send the crypto in. They wanted IP addresses that I used to log in. I mean, this was for 2FA. This wasn't for, I didn't lose my password. I have my password. I just lost my 2FA on my phone. They wanted 3 separate pictures of me holding the shit that they wanted, my ID. They wanted side shots. They sent it back one time because I didn't have my arms completely in the photo. You have to have your arms completely in the. It was ridiculous. All the shit that I was just getting so pissed. But finally got it done, man. They finished the whole list of shit, man. And God, I got that shit out of there. And some of it was that new. So I had a big bag of Sia coin in there that they just put on Coinbase. So I had a little pump there and dumped that shit on their heads for some hex, baby, for some hex. And then on top of all that, I'm coming to you from my new studio here at the RG3 Discourse Syndicate studio. I got my iMac rolling now, and I'm just waiting on a new microphone and a new camera to come in. But man, I'm stoked. I'm fired up, guys. How are you guys doing?
Yeah, good. Good.
Litecoin, what's up, dude?
What up, man? It's nice to meet you. Crypto Power Talk, dude. What's up?
Yeah, nice to meet you too. Nothing much, just relaxing. That's good,
man. That's real good, especially after a long day, man.
Yeah.
Dude, it's 2 o'clock in the morning for him.
What?
Yeah, it's 2 a.m. for him.
Damn.
I ain't saying where he's at, but he's on the other side of the damn world, man. That's crazy. Man. So Power Talk. Let everybody know, little bit about yourself. I mean, are you a multi-million-dollar crypto bag holder? Are you a big Bitcoin guy? I mean, what is up with you? You're a world traveler. Is that what you are, man?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. Originally from Zimbabwe, but I live in Ireland now. Yeah.
Oh, right on.
Yeah. I got in crypto about 2017, but I'd heard about it before, like just watching RT, Max Kaiser.
Right.
Okay.
But I never got to studied about it, or it felt just a little bit complicated, so I never bothered. I just knew that there was this something called Bitcoin, and then in 2017 the price started to go up a lot. I think from the beginning of the year the price just started to go up. It was in the hundreds, then it went to the thousands, then the price just kept going, and then at that point I just had to start studying about Bitcoin because the price was going up that much. Then I started learning about Bitcoin. Then when the split happened, I sided more with the Bitcoin Cash side. I didn't really think the Bitcoin roadmap didn't make much sense to me. And then
still doesn't.
But then a lot of the why I started to make some content or post some stuff online was because a lot of the information on the internet about Bitcoin Cash was all negative, and then I just thought I would just have a little bit of positive information, and so in 2017 that's when I started listening to Richard Hart. I didn't listen as much early on, but as time went on, I started to listen more and more. And when he started talking about HEX, what he said made a lot of sense. And what I could see was it's a project that I thought the value would go up a lot. From the way he was talking about it and how much he was really kind of pushing it. I thought that the project was just going to be very, very valuable. But at first I didn't say anything, because there was a lot of hate coming up against against Hex. So I just kept quiet, but I kind of followed it up, listening what's going on. What made me start to talk about it was because I had a little bit of Hex, and then I forgot about it. Then one day, I'm not even thinking about it. Then my girlfriend said, "Hey, what happened to that Hex?" Then I go in to check, and then I see the price, and the price is just skyrocketed. The price is just, that's when I got really excited, because I expected the price to go up, but I had expected maybe a little bit of time. I expected maybe a year or two. That's what I expected. Then I saw the price had gone crazy. Then when I was excited, I made one video about it. Then a few people watched. Then I made another one. Then that's how I started really posting stuff about it. Yeah, I think that's that's like probably the short. That's the short answer to that.
That's the genesis there.
Yeah, those gains get you, man. Those gains get you.
yeah. And those gains, they really surprised me. They because they were just phenomenal.
Did you get on day one or?
No. A few days after. I don't remember exactly the date. I haven't checked, but some time after. But still very early.
Champion. Yeah, you got in good, man. Those are good prices. No, I FOMO'd on day one, man.
I would have FOMO'd on day one, but at first I didn't really know how to move things around.
Right.
I think I'm a little bit lazy to learn, so it took a bit of time for me to start to actually learn, and then download MetaMask and all that stuff. That's why I didn't get in on day one. But if I had known how to do it, I would have gone in on day one.
Right.
Yeah.
Did you follow like a dollar cost strategy, or did you just kind of put a bunch here in one? Like, did you put most of your money in 1 week, or you just kind of did it day after day or something?
Yeah, the dollar cost was the idea, but I didn't do it. I just a few times, then I just stopped. Then I just left it. I didn't really go consistent. I didn't expect that there would be like a parabolic move. That's the thing. So it was always a situation of there's still time, no need to rush, that kind of a thing.
Yeah.
That's it's funny how back then I was doing the same thing. I had a bag. I was waiting, and I would talk to the guys at night, and we'd be back and forth on Telegram. Hey, are you gonna get some more or what? Wow, wait and see if the price is gonna come down. And that's when we were in the millions at that point per ETH. And it's like, gosh, man, I should have just did everything I could to get as much as I could every day I could at that point. Because I think we're seeing the bottom right now, and anything could happen. Yeah, I got it.
Okay.
Yeah,
right. The other day. I'm still buying. I'm still dollar cost averaging. This is my second week of dollar cost averaging again. Hell yeah, man.
I'm trying to find.
The price is good right now. Yeah, the price is really good for that to be getting, and it's really good.
Yeah. So you do your stream. Somebody in the chat said, "Hey, you're not in your car, so you do the stream out of your car."
Well, the thing is that
those car streamers, right? I mean, I see that this is like, I understand, because when you get in your car, it's like a studio, right? I mean, it's all closed up, it's quiet, it feels like a
sanctuary.
Studio. So it's a little sanctuary. So is that why you do it, or why you do it in your car?
Well, yeah, a lot of things as well. The car. It's I can go where there's not much noise, because sometimes in the house,
Yeah.
Yeah, because like I live like in the main street, so they'll be like now it's quiet because it's late. There'll always be cars moving around, trucks and all that. So the noise, just try to make it so that the sound is as good as it can be, because I'm not using a mic or anything. So I think I just try to go somewhere where it's a little bit quiet, and then do a quick video like that. That's why I'm in the car most of the time.
Yeah, we're not. I just got a message from Hexologist, said that we're not on Dlive, so I don't know what happened. Well, I set up the server through StreamYard here, but I might have to find another way to do this, because now that I've got a more a computer with more capacity
Right.
might be able to just go with using OBS, but that's going to be difficult too, because we can't put multiple. Gotcha. We'll figure something out here.
Yeah,
but,
and if worst case scenario, what I could do when I get my rig is maybe I can run the Dlive stuff or something, or the library. That way, maybe split it or something like that, just in case.
That might work. I don't know how this will push to it, but we'll see. There's our TMP link that I hooked the Dlive up to today, and it was supposed to be pushing to Periscope, Twitch, and that was through Restream. I did it, but anyway, not to get into all the details. We're talking to crypto here. So now, what made you want to start doing videos about Hex? Was it the was it the referral link, or did you just you just said, you know what, I want to get into this thing and help out and get the word out on it?
Yeah, well, the referral link was one of the things that I thought that was one of the most powerful motivators for me to think that the price will go up. I thought that I haven't seen any projects that prioritize like outreach, going to talk to people, onboarding more people in a way that it actually there's a financial incentive. So the referral link was it's what made me think the price would go up a lot. One of the reasons that I thought the price would go up a lot. But making videos, it's like I used to make videos before, but then like no one would really watch them. So, but when I made these, there was a little bit of interest, and I've always liked to talk about crypto, with other people who are in crypto, who like crypto as well. So it was more that also, like a way to reach out and talk to other people who like crypto, that kind of a thing. Yeah, I think that was one of the main reasons why I started. But HEX, it's I like that the price had gone up a lot. I think that of all the crypto, I think HEX is one that I think the community has been great. They've treated me really, really well. So it was kind of like a feeling at home, that kind of a situation. So that's why one video led to another, till start making regularly. Yeah.
Right on. Well, we got some other guys in the lobby here I'm going to bring in, and a couple of our regular cutthroats. We've got Funding Jim.
Jim, and, bro, what's up?
Johnny, man? Chaos. What's happening, fellas?
Chaos. I like inviting chaos to the mix.
Chaos.
Yeah, he's been chaotic ever since he's gotten here. That's for sure. So we first grabbed him on the 24-hour, right?
Yeah, I think I got on the 24-hour and I was on Hex Hexo stream.
I like his lair. It looks like there's a dragon protecting his hoard of gold coins or something behind him.
That's right. He's got dragons and skulls and zombie masks and everything else back there.
It's like my crypto keys are in the mouth of that dragon.
So now the cool thing in the topic of today is kind of like, what's been going on YouTube. So Funding Jim, you just started a YouTube channel and you've been already seeing some gatekeeping. Crypto Power Talk, you don't have any problems yet as of yet. Of course, Litecoin's got a ton of programs that he does and podcasts that he does, but the gatekeeping is crazy, man. I mean, the fact that they would pull Hexo's show down, and the guy's golden. He doesn't. I don't understand that. I've heard a bunch of rumors about some things that people were complaining or something maybe, and there was a couple of people that were in his chat that were suspicious that might have tried to do something, but I don't know. It might be just these algorithms. I'm not sure.
I think it's a little of both, to tell you the truth.
You think maybe somebody flagged him?
Yeah.
And then the algorithms got him?
I think once you get flagged a couple times, the algorithms cut you less slack for something, and then you get it's almost like, okay, one flag, the level of the amount of stuff you have to do goes down. So it might be sort of like a category where once you have 2 or 3 strike, or like 2 strikes or something, like it's just like tripping over a feather or something, and then you're out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see because all the other maxi tards out there, they got reinstated. All of them did. Every one of them that cried and sang the blues and blocked me for telling them, see, it doesn't feel good, does it? They all got their shows back. But
So I think that people like Ivan have 2 strikes, and before they lost their 3rd strike and actually have their name on YouTube, the channel name completely banned or whatever. That's when they moved over to their own server, and now they stream elsewhere, but they just post the link of the curated material. I guess they probably even snip out anything that they think might be pseudo suspicious. And I'd said that in my stream also, actually, the one that got banned or got blocked, and then I had to appeal to get it back up. But you know, you can go to where the water's at, and that's really what YouTube is. The water is other people. I mean, it's the billions of eyes that can see your material. Doesn't mean they will, but it says that they can. And the recommendation, you know, the power of YouTube really is that, you know, you can tell everyone to subscribe, hit the notice bell, and so forth, and maybe build a following. But truthfully, I don't think you make money from YouTube as a crypto person unless you're getting sponsored by some crypto, maybe even nefarious project that's going to just buy your influence to other people. So you shouldn't do YouTube because it's a money maker for advertising dollars or anything like that. So I've noticed with people like Richard, you know, if they have it not monetized, is that helpful? Because then, of course, YouTube doesn't have any reason to even host your material or to take up bandwidth when they can't advertise on it because you're not choosing to advertise. So it's kind of a double-edged sword. You either go where the water's at, which are eyeballs, or you go to something that's decentralized, like Dlive or maybe Twitch and things like that. They're still gate kept, but you're basically trading, you know, off your ability to broadcast anything, almost anything, without any rules, but nobody's there.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. The outreach is what's important. You know, I mean, that's what we're all in this for, is to get the word out, disseminate information, grow the community, all that. I mean, this channel, the only reason I want to monetize it is for the community itself, is to put that back into it. But I mean, if that's not going to be the case, then, you know, whatever, we'll just keep doing what we do until they boot us, which, you know, could happen any second.
And we should never make fun of no other little platform, even though Dlive and Library and some of these other alternative, like, kind of YouTubes are small right now. They can end up growing into pretty decent sized channels and stuff. I mean, things like Musically were made fun of for a while until it became TikTok. It's TikTok, right? Yeah, and that's how everything starts. I remember when Instagram first came out, like literally anybody could just instantly get 5,000 followers on Instagram like this during the beginning of it, because everyone was following each other, and it's sort of like the gold rush essentially. So if we can build a little bit of a following, even though it's small compared to YouTube, it's gigantic in that platform. And when that platform starts getting more and more, because I think we're going to start getting sort of apocalypse, like I think a few months ago, the Crypto Crow actually got taken down on YouTube as well, and, you know, cried, bitch, and moaned, and they got him back. But you know, that's going to start happening to more and more people. I mean, it even happened to some of our videos or earlier videos with Hexologist. Like, they got taken down as well, and we never got them back. But we just got to keep growing, like doing, like, kind of being ninjas in the YouTube world, siphoning followers into this other world, growing that. And if they do axe us out, we have there. It's just sort of like we're Hydra. You cut one head off, we got more. We got 3 more to go.
Yeah, and I think in the long run, probably YouTube will end up taking off a lot of people. So those other platforms that may be small will probably become the ones that are predominantly used, probably by most people in crypto.
Hail Hydra!
Well, yeah, the Hydra. Johnny Chaos has one of the heads behind him.
Right.
I had said earlier, maybe in something else, about this outreach to, you know, quote unquote no coiners, and I think Hexologist said it the week before about, you know, how friend of his was coming to visit, and, you onboarding this guy was much easier than competing with other tribes inside of crypto that are, one, looking for viewership. If they have a YouTube channel, they're looking for viewership. Ivan is looking for people to sign up for his program, to pay $100 to learn blockchain. Right. So everybody is basically competing in the same pool for the same attention span, right? So what I was saying in my streams back up, and it posted, but it was the last portion of it was really about, if you have an interest and you have a skill set that you've accrued how to use OBS, how to do a thumbnail, how to do any of these ways of basically mass communication. And I think that it's great that we come together, we have these kinds of opportunities to commune, but I think that people should be doing outreach about their own niche interest that's nothing to do with crypto. And what I mean by that is people that I just was on my stream, I said, hey, this guy just did a video yesterday, 11 hours ago, about how to take an IKEA piece of furniture and basically hack it to make it better. So he had a 10-minute or 20-minute video about IKEA. He made an IKEA purchase. He made a little quick video about how to do it. And in 11 hours, he had 1.3 million views. Now, out of that 1.3 million views about something that's useful, a utility or whatever, or entertaining to other people, inside of your description of your channel, you can have 4 or 5 other links to other channels that you operate or that you create content for. And I think that that's going to be a smarter outreach for Hex people because, one, YouTube gets monetized off of advertiser dollars. Either you're paying $10 a month because you're not seeing ads, like a lot of people use YouTube Red and then they don't see ads, or you go through every single hack and you take out the, like Richard pointed out, you can put a period at the end of youtube.com and then the slash and whatever you're looking at, and ads won't play if you're doing the free thing. But there's all kinds of hacks and stuff. I'm just saying that I think it's smarter to put some of your skills toward some kind of other interest that you have genuine interest in building either a following or making content for. Comedy, cars, trending videos that might be out already, and you just make commentary about what they're saying, like a new music video from Little Pump comes out, and you make a comment, right? You make a video and you throw in Little Pump, and you're pretty quick going to get 30 or 40,000 views. And I'm not saying that it's bait and switch. I'm saying it's a genuine interest that you have, that you create content for, you build that channel, and that could be an off-ramp into your other interest, which I think is, long-term investment, HEX, CD, interest. I think that's where you build buildership, because otherwise it's just tribal Indians fighting with other tribal Indians over the same, scarce resource, near a river. And that's kind of what we're doing, is we're kind of battling with each other.
What's that?
That's a good marketing strategy. If a person likes you and they get familiar with you, they're going to believe you and follow you and maybe look into some of your other interests as well. So that's kind of a cool way to go about it. I think that it is easier to onboard somebody that's not in crypto, but the problem is trying to simplify Hex in a way that the average person can understand it. And because it's got so much complexity, you pull off one layer and there's another layer underneath there. Crypto Power Talk there. I was commenting on your videos earlier today. You were talking about, well, I'm going to get my Hex and then it's going to go up and then I'm going to get rid of it. It's like, yeah, but you haven't covered that share thing yet. Once you get to that share complexity and you start realizing that actually, you'll never get that position that you have now back. Once you unload it, you'll never get that position back. And Hex has a tendency, about the time you unload, it's going to take off and you'll be like, why did I sell my Hex? Because it does that to people. It's just kind of how it's set up. It punishes you for getting out too soon. So you might want to look into the staking a little bit more. But back to what I was saying was the complexity is hard to explain to the average person. It's hard enough to explain Bitcoin to them when it doesn't have those layers that Hex does. And because it's like, wait, there's more, but wait, there's more, but wait, there's more. And by the time you're done telling them all there's more, they're like, I can't take this. I don't understand what you're talking about. So an easy way to onboard, and it sounds like Steph and Firebun are working on something right now that's going to make that a heck of a lot easier. So
Nice.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what they develop. You had just said something about this, understanding the share. I saw that Good Texture was in the chatting part of the stream, and I think that he had made a tweet earlier, and it was about maybe earlier in the day, and it was about the unstaking avalanche or something like that. And like you just said, it has at least trended to be. You'll see effectively a whale unstake and make 2 times or 3 times the money that they put in originally and feel great about it. And then after that, you'd see a super rise in value to be 116 times what their money would have been. So I think that if you look at the history of these things that are now considered commodities in the crypto space, meaning Bitcoin and Ethereum, as far as what the STC says, those things are in SEC judgment commodity. And that's how I see HEX, because it really doesn't have anything that threatens the ICO model or the security model or anything like that. So I see it in the similar categorization as those others. And if you look at the history of Bitcoin and the history of Ethereum, you do see when people get this temptation of 2, 3, 4 times their money, they exit. And the difference with those is they might follow the dip, they might buy low, sell high, market psychology, and they have undulations that they can ride the waves on. But you really can't do that with HEX. With HEX, the way that the share rate works, you can be out and you can effectively be always chasing the balloon, always.
Yeah, because it'll walk away from you if you're not watching. We had one of those YouTubers who we will not mention their name, who caused a bunch of FUD at the very beginning, and we've got a little video of him, which is pretty hilarious. How he was bragging that he made 2.5 times his money, and then Hex did the 100x.
Yeah,
and he basically gave away $700,000.
Yeah,
in today's value, and that's not even at the top of the market.
Couldn't have happened to a better motherfucker.
Yeah. Well, again, not to talk too much about that situation. That was really arbitrage. It wasn't that it was mad at anything about the project, anything about Richard. All of that was FUD, in my opinion, because he was making hand over fist money on arbitrage. And whatever happened after that pissed him off was because the arbitrage window narrowed more than anything.
Yes,
that's what messed him up. He was
dump protection, you could call it.
He's dumping on all of us.
You call it dump protection.
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck him anyway. Whatever. Freaking jerkwad. Little Fed-looking fuck.
RG3 is the most subtle guy in all of the community.
RG's got this covered.
We call him Slick Willie.
It could, like I say, couldn't have a better guy. Good. Fuck you. Good. Bye. Bye.
Yeah. Tribalism hurts crypto.
Man, that's what happens to people when they get stupid, right? You start trying to steal. You start sticking your hands in people's pockets. What's the saying? Don't look a gift horse in the mouth, for lack of better. Something really shitty to say to him. But whatever. We don't talk about his ass anyway.
Now, I'm wondering about some of these things that are built on that might be selling on the market right now, that may have closed down and now they're selling on the market. That might be what's putting us in this current dip that we have right now. I think that's going to be short-lived.
I did the math on that. I don't think that's what's going on. I really don't think that's what's going on.
Well, I mean, I'm not saying that is what's happening, but there is one will come up, about 30 days will go by, maybe 45. The hype cycle will be over, and then it'll move to be a new project. I think that it might be the same developing group, but you have to remember with a lot of these, there's an entrance cost and there's an exit cost. And the people at the, when it flattens out, they may not have lost their money, but it's like a Dogecoin or some other kind of project. There may be value because that's the last price that something was traded in it. So you actually can have nobody on the Bitcoin network. I mean, no one ever trade a Bitcoin again, and it will be locked at that perceived value forever. So you can, I think that some of these projects that aren't really alive, they just basically grow another project using the same base code. And, there's 20% or so in every husk left behind. There's 20% of that volume is still Hex because it's the last players of the game.
It's funny you said that as a joke. Yeah. I bought a bunch of Dogecoin as a joke a long time ago, and I just traded in for Hex today.
Nice.
Finally got it off
of stuff like that. I mean, I had lists. I was going through all of the bones of past cryptos, and it was stuff that like I had commented about David Hay or about this last round of videos and stuff like that, and I've made a response video pretty much right after it got posted. And what I remember is I listened to him fairly closely in 17, not as like buying advice, but to kind of already reinforce my own bias, I guess. And I looked at things like Lisk or other projects and said, yeah, we're going to do it this way, and this is going to be the Ethereum competitor or whatever it might be. And that's one thing that, again, now I look at it and say, wow, I'm just reinforcing my love of a commodity, the love of a product that's a finished product, a finished automobile. Someone was saying earlier, I think Crypto Coffee or somebody else had made a video about, or someone had said something about the Ethereum gas fees. If the Ethereum gas fees get so high, then what will we do? And it's kind of like saying, well, if the roads have enough potholes in it, would you drive on those potholes, or would you just put your car on a different route, a nicer route, a nicer road, a nicer infrastructure? So there's always the potential that maybe one day Cardano is amazing and it's blockchain 3.0. And if that's amazing at that time, its potential is that Hex is an amazing vehicle that's a finished vehicle, but it doesn't have to ride on one road forever. It doesn't have to be locked to one strata,
We could probably follow the tether strategy where we have maybe 20% of our volume go through Ethereum, 20% on Cardano, 20% Ethereum Classic, and just something like that essentially, because that's what Tether's doing right now. Is it's getting on Tron and it's getting on EOS and all these other projects just in case, because originally it was on Bitcoin and it was so slow that it just forked onto Ethereum. Now that Ethereum's getting kind of clogged up because it's clogging up the network.
Hey, so I got a question for everybody, maybe everybody in the chat too. So Ardor is its AARD Ardor network or whatever, which has NXT on it, and Ignis. Ignis was the airdrop that happened in like December 28th of 2017, and so I had a bunch of that in there, and you have to move that over to their platform. There's, to their wallet in order to get it. You can't, it's almost impossible to move that stuff. I tried, I guess one of the wallets that they attached to it was, what's that onboarding platform that everybody was talking about the other day? Crap. Now I can't remember it. Let me look at it real quick here.
The only old school shit coin bag that I know that came back to life was Dragon Chain. That was the only one.
It's not really.
I got a bunch of this. I gotta dump
somewhere.
this shit.
I was very heavily invested in that, and I did see the volume, but it's still only at about 30 or 40 grand during the peak of the day, and maybe 100 grand over the course of the day as far as total volume. So it's come back some, but
they got a really cool icon.
Hit the bottom.
Yeah. I heard a couple AMAs with the actual founder of the coin and stuff and everything, and found out, it was developed. There's this whole little I'm a shitcoin connoisseur, right? So I do these little deep dives just to find out, and essentially it was created in Disney, but it was a bunch of Disney employees in the company kind of building it while getting paid to work at Disney. And then
they were interns. Later we found out that they were interns. There were base rate.
They worked in the parks and stuff and everything like that, and then But right now, the real hype for it is because they're building a social media platform, and essentially kind of Reddit jacked like half of their idea as well. So like Reddit actually kind of stole half the idea from Dragon Chain. Not as well, I think, but it is kind of cool because you can basically pay to get more
I know
exposure,
what
which
it
is
was.
kind of nice.
Oh,
shit.
he's out. Our host
That's
has
what it was.
abandoned the boat.
Exit scammed us. Fuck.
So
let's let the guy up top.
We have Crypto Power Talk. I wonder if you can comment a little bit, because I think I heard that your origin country is Zimbabwe, and out of Zimbabwe and Ireland, those are quite different cultures. So when you look at something like the currency that you were utilizing when you were raised in Zimbabwe, the movement to a euro, I guess the Ireland is the euro, is it?
Yeah,
And,
the euro, yeah.
And then how you are thinking of another kind of currency or trading of value with crypto. So I'm very curious to hear that quick story.
Well, the Zim dollar was destroyed. It was destroyed completely, and it was abandoned. And then Zimbabwe adopted the US dollar, and then the US dollar until we adopted the US dollar. Then the government said, well, since we don't really have a relationship with the US government to use the dollar, we don't have change. So to solve that, we're going to give you these coins. Then they said, well, now we're going to give you these notes. And then, so they brought in through the back door, like the Zim dollar again. And now it's, so it used to be 1:1, and now it's about 1:50. And it happened like the past, I think it was officially changed, probably 2017 again, right? 2018 around there. So now it's 1:50. So they have, well, they destroyed, like, just issuing more. And a problem again is that people don't really have trust in the currency. So when the government says this is the new currency, everyone does what they do. Then they look for dollars, you know. So everyone is trying to run away, get out of the currency as fast as possible. So that was also one of the other things that were very attractive about Bitcoin in the beginning for me, because I was like, well, the fixed supply, you know, at least to only 21 million, you know, that was very attractive then, because I know firsthand that the government can destroy currencies, but obviously the situation in Zimbabwe is a bit different, you know, than everywhere else, because obviously, like, other countries can print more, but you know, they're very productive. So you don't really, who knows if there'll ever be inflation, you know, because if printing with no production, I think that's the biggest cause of inflation, rather than the printing that the government was doing. Yeah.
Interesting.
That's how I look at it. I think very irresponsible. I think the policies that the government put in. I think that I would say that's probably what the biggest problem that caused inflation. And well, here obviously, like with the euro, price is pretty much stable. You know, no one cares about currency as much. Whereas in Zimbabwe, everyone understands that currencies the value can go down. So you need to protect yourself. And the only way people protect themselves, I think, it's with dollars.
So
that's
when a Zim person right now, do they store their value, like in the United States and in Europe, they may have ideas like a pension, or they may have contributions from your work or from your government or whatever, a retirement or a social security program. Does a Zim person do anything like that to hold their value for their future when they're older or they're ill? I mean, what does a Zim person hold as a store of value is my question.
Yeah, well, I'll say if you have money, it's US dollars, because the thing is this: all those things used to be there, you know, all those pensions and all that. But when the currency goes down, then everything goes down, because all your pensions and all, they're all priced in the local currency. So when the currency goes down, that stuff doesn't work anymore.
Yeah, that's exactly what I have friends that live in Venezuela now. They have family members that are behind the borders in Venezuela. They live in Tennessee, but their family is all in Venezuela, and they've been going through this for a long time. similarly with other countries like what's the one that has Chavez? Who goes? Is that?
Oh, Venezuela.
Is that Venezuela as well? Yeah. So you know, these socialist countries, or Argentina also has had different bank holidays where they'll revalue the currency. You know, you'll have one value in a bank account on a Friday, and then when Monday rolls around, they'll say that's worth half. You know, that buys half.
Yeah, and like what happened in Zimbabwe as well. The recent thing was that like, the country migrated to US dollars, and then so you have savings in your bank account that are US dollars, and then you wake up one day they're not US dollars anymore. They're now a local currency.
Wow.
Yeah. So do people just like bury stuff in their backyard, or how do people like they hold physical assets that can trade in the future, like gold or silver, or they just you know, land? Or I think that's
Cash.
one of the challenges of Africa in general.
Sorry?
Is that I was thinking that was the challenge of a lot of different African countries, is the land rights or property rights and things like that, store of value problems. Is that true?
Well, I think it's different with countries. You know, some countries don't have those kind of problems as much as others. In Zimbabwe, in particular, I think people, yes, property and all that, but I think US dollars are the like, if you want, you know, liquid store of value, I think US dollars are the ones. Cash, yeah, US dollars in cash, yeah, because. As well, again, if you can, because now when they introduced the Zim dollar, they say now you can have a foreign bank account in US dollars. But if you have that, whenever you want to use your money, you have to explain what you want to do with your money. So the best way is to just have cash. You know, that way you don't need to explain anything. If you want to spend your money, you can spend your money however you want to.
Do you send value, or do you know people that send value from Europe into? I mean, do you send it like in euro form, or do you send it through crypto form, or how do you send?
Yeah, well, yeah. Well, at least remittances still work, because if you send with MoneyGram and Western Union, you can still collect the US dollars in cash. They haven't gone after the remittances yet. I don't think they will, because if they do, then people will stop sending. So the remittances, they allow them to come in. People can still collect their money in hard currency. That part I think is good. And as for property rights, I don't know about other countries. It's a little bit complicated. I mean, you might not really face problems. You might face problems. Sometimes it's political. You know, like if you say bad things about the government, then maybe your property is not as secure. You know, if you don't get involved in politics, yeah, you could own your property and that's okay. You know, that's so I think
just don't stir the pot.
Yeah. But well, I think other countries that pretty much like South Africa, I don't think they have those problems. You know, the law is good, you're protected and all that stuff.
Well, so they don't until they do. That's the problem.
Sorry?
They don't until they do. I mean, that's the problem. So, you know, America, in my opinion, is becoming more and more leftist and socialist, and the majority is saying, you know, this is everyone should share. You know, there's no rights of your words or rights of your property. I mean, it's decreasing, at least in my opinion. So I'm just curious about, you know, someone that has different cultural experiences, which obviously you do. You're interacting with a third or fourth type of culture here too. You know.
Yeah.
Well, we could wake up all tomorrow and our bank accounts could be replaced with Fed coin. You know,
USDC,
they did it with gold.
USDC, man. I'm thinking that's the
they
Fed
did
coin
it with
now.
gold. You know.
Well, you know, that's the thing is, you know, we have been talking about Bitcoin as programmable money, and Richard says this, you know, programmable. Okay, what's it programmed to do? You know, can you do things with it? And there's not much you can do with Bitcoin. And then Ethereum was this story as well of smart contracts and programmable. And the idea of a Fed coin is that it will be programmed to debase automatically. So it's not a programmed store of value, it's a programmed decrease in value.
Yeah. And the number one way, like a emerging country's currency goes to shit, essentially, is that we get a crash in commodity prices, because that's the demand for their money, essentially, to get U.S. dollars, right? So that's the peg. The minute the peg is broken, let's just say a country exports oil and then no one wants oil. What happens? Boom! Their local currency goes to shit. I mean, it even happened. Look, peep this right here. Since we had the whole COVID thing go down, I have some friends in Australia, and their currency went down like 32% to the US dollar.
40%. 40% in the last 2 years. 40% in the last 2 years, the Australian dollars. And we had the biggest rate of inflation in the last quarter, jumped up to about, or that's what they report, 2.5% or 2.5 to between 2.25 and 2.5%. They were in reporting the inflation rate, but in the real world, it's actually higher than that. But
do you know what would be the cure for that? P155. Do you know what the cure for that is? If the Australian government were to,
what can they do? What can they do? I mean, if you vote out the politicians, then the other mob will come in and they'll just keep printing money. So that's the model. I mean, that is the model. The
base is the same problem that Greece had or Cyprus had. Cyprus is 2% small. Greece is small as well. But Australia is a continent and competitive in a lot of ways because of all of the mineral-rich resources in the country. And so if they were to back the currency in a at least appearance-wise, and say that this is based on our gold, silver, rhodium, platinum, but basically a basket of metals, which obviously Australia has, then it would be saber rattling, though, because it basically does threaten the economies that are based on the dollar, the U.S. dollar. So countries that are big enough that can threaten the reserve currency status of the United States right now are places primarily like China. But you can't rattle
China and Russia, and it's a stitch up. Yeah,
without the real.
They're currently liquidating the supply too. Their reserve. They're currently liquidating their reserve. That's why we've got all these tensions we see in the news, where we've got the news pushing us towards thinking bad things about other countries, because we've got them deciding, we don't need you. We've got our own industry here. We don't really need you, so we're just not going to accept the dollar anymore.
I don't think that's real.
This always becomes war. I mean,
it's fun. It's fun.
It's fun.
It's all fun.
Well, we're going to know really quick.
It's just whether it's going to be cyber war or if it's going to be Cold War, but it always becomes war because it's a battle over import and export values.
China it's a racket. War is a fucking racket.
Backed by the
it has to
petrodollar.
import so much of its food.
Smedley Butler, read his book. War is a racket.
Yeah. No, definitely. I mean, I know how to get Australia out of its rut, and it's so fucked up and stupid. I would say you would start saddle rate, like you would just get everyone pissed off and stuff. Like, hey, we need to do something, right? And then we create a false flag in New Zealand and just conquer that motherfucker.
I'm a New Zealander, mate. Don't get smart.
The powers that be aren't smart enough for freaking false flag bullshit, man. I'm sorry. They ain't got.
It's just they got to stop selling both sides of the fence. Like we've got trade with Australia. Sorry, we've got trade with the USA, and we've got trade with China. And China have so much influence. We've been on the sheep's back with them for so long that they have such a huge influence on our economy. So, and America doesn't like it because, obviously China and Russia are saying, well, now's the chance to have a crack at the US dollar and the petrodollar, and the Arabs have gone, yep, no worries, we're down with that. Let's pump the oil, and look what happened to the oil price. And of course, you've got those zombie corporations in America like Hertz, and then there's a couple of other ones, those drilling fracking organizations where they're just basically zombie companies, and they're being pumped up on the stock market. You've got the millennials and the Generation Zs that are just front running the market with their Robinhood apps and the algorithms and the scam wicks, trying to basically leave the bankers or the Wall Street guys holding the bags, because they know that the government's just going to print them to oblivion and bail them out, just the same as they always do. So. And like in Australia, a little bit different social welfare-wise and social issues around, working mums and dads. Like you know, what can the government do? The government want to do the right thing by the people here,
Right.
and really they're in a position where that's the system. Then they've got to print the money to help out people and things like that. But at the same time, the money loses its value because it's not like you go to work and you earn a living and you get paid. It's like they're just giving people money. So what happens to the value of the dollar then?
Right.
Yeah.
Do you think the weakness in the Australian, I guess it's Australian dollar, is because China isn't buying as much like resources anymore, and that's what's okay? Yeah, I knew it.
That's exactly
Okay,
right.
right. That
Yeah,
makes
I mean,
sense.
Exactly right, Litecoin. Yep.
You know, countries that are resource rich are export countries. That's why you see Saudi Arabia doesn't, you know, you're not buying Saudi products. They're importing products from the world because they're trading resources out of the ground. You don't buy Russian products. I don't know how many Russian products you have inside your house right now, but you're not buying those. They
That's
are
vodka.
exporting oil to the world, timber maybe as well, but they're exporting resources of the land, not innovation and invention. So when you have a country like an example of Japan, Japan has a small population by comparison to other nations, has almost no natural resources by comparison to other nations, but necessity drives invention and innovation. So they, you know, more of the products that you buy are from Japan because they don't have resource rich. They have to transform resources into final products. So it's the same sort of thing, unfortunately, with Australia. For a majority of Australia, is it's very resource rich. The United States is resource rich as well, but we basically dominate right now with, you know, our military is more powerful than 10 other nations combined. So we are basically
That's what we have is the military.
Yeah. So our technology.
All right. So guys, what the fuck does this have to do with that? What
We're
the
printing
fuck
these
does this have to do with HEX?
We're printing these dollars and pumping our bags, baby. That's what's
This,
going on.
I don't
Yes,
give a
sir.
shit about what's going
on
on
that.
out there. We're shielded from all this bullshit,
You
right?
got 150 days to shield the link. Get on.
Yeah, man. We got some link shilling to do. We got some bag pumping to do. We better quit talking about all this drab bullshit ass no money crap printing brr, shit FUD bull crap. What shit, man? We got guys from Zimbabwe. We got guys from New Zealand here. Let's talk about how long does it take you to get across Mozambique to get to a beach where I can get to some surf in Zimbabwe, buddy?
Yeah, to spend the gains.
How far is it across Mozambique to get to the ocean?
I don't know exactly, but it's not too far. It's maybe a few hours, you know. Well, depending from where.
There's some surf over there, right? There's some. You guys got some.
Yeah, beautiful beach there and all that.
Yeah, buddy. And New Zealand. I mean, I need to be on the east coast of New Zealand surfing over there too, right?
Yeah, we got some of the surf breaks in the world over here. I should rephrase that. I'm actually in Aussie, but yeah, I'm from New Zealand.
Oh,
That
you're
makes
from New
sense.
Zealand, but you're an Aussie.
Correct.
When New Zealand's where all the orcs and the hobbits live, isn't it?
Yeah, I know. Hey, it's God's country, mate. I'm telling you now. You got to get over here.
Yeah.
Where at
Cows,
Nazi are you
Pastures
from?
everywhere.
Surf, if you're into surfing, yeah, look, we're just down from Burleigh, so it's one of the most famous surf breaks in the world, and there's some conjecture whether surfing was actually invented by Australia or
No, it wasn't.
America.
No.
Exactly. He's invented everything.
No.
A bit like he's invented mountain biking, because the bush was always came after you blokes, didn't it?
Well, every time you guys rode a bike, it was mountain biking, right?
Well, yeah, we just
From
we
the
just had
beginning.
BMXs. Well, the Repack Challenge, the Damper Hill Classic that you know, Gary Fisher and all those famous early mountain bikers with a specialized stump jumper and things that came out of America, they basically wrote the history because they had all the money.
Yeah, I grew up 2 doors down from Tinker Juarez. He was one of the
Oh
most
yeah,
famous
Tinker Juarez. Well, he's one of the famous 24. He's a BMXer, and then he went into 24-hour racing, and he's a legend. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
2 doors down from me. Grew up with him as a kid.
Wow! Oh wow! What a how's that a
Tink.
small world?
Yeah, he
Awesome.
rode for Mongoose back then in the early days.
Yeah,
That
know
kid
him.
was
know of him. Yeah.
he's a few years older than me, but he was a shit, man. And then he tried to go motorcycles,
Absolutely.
but he couldn't. He you know. But what the fuck does this have to do with HEX?
Yeah. RG3. What do you have a price prediction for the end of the year?
33 cents. My sergeant at arms, good texture, says 33 cents. So I'm sticking with that.
This year.
Yeah. Yeah.
Those are mad gains. Mad gains.
You know, this is
Hey, somebody's got to say moon shit, right?
this was my thought.
Well, I mean, we'll see what
Yes.
happens. Anything can
This
happen,
was my
guys.
thought initially.
Wait. I'm not done
initially
with,
at the beginning of the project. I was
yet.
thinking,
I'm not done with Australia yet. Hold on a second. So you said the two things that are really bad about Australia and Africa for a guy that owns a bunch of HEX is that you guys got the most damn great whites out in the freaking world. Both of your countries, Australia and Africa, have great whites all over the damn place out there, and they eat surfers too, man. Our great whites don't eat surfers. What is it you guys are doing out there?
Oh, I
Our
think it'll be
surf
the bull.
is farther offshore, isn't it? I think the great
Bull
white come
sharks.
right up to shore with us, with those guys.
Well,
It's
we
not just
got
the great-
dude. I got them. I got juvies. I see them when I'm out here surfing.
Yeah, they're off of San Francisco. Also, there's a whole corridor.
Oh yeah,
They're
they
out there
eat
at
shit up
Napa.
there too. For
Yeah.
some reason, those up northern ones. But anyway, I tried to build that around HEX. But anyway, let's get back to it, guys. I don't want to lose people's attention talking about too much crap and I mean price.
Let's talk about
predictions and
staking
all.
ladders and different ideas, because different people have different beliefs about the pivot. You know, as far as how many people are staked right now and what kind of interest they're getting and on their HEX, and you know whether it might be 20% or something like that because of the it's like 20% are staked or something like that number. And what do you think is going to happen before big payday and after big payday? That kind of speculation is curious to me.
Well, it's coming. I mean, the staking craze is going to start happening here in the next few months. People are going to start staking their HEX, and I don't know what we're going to see, but I mean, it's definitely going to get, as soon as people start seeing big payday coming, they're going to want to stake. I think that I don't know what it's going to do to price or whatever, but I think a lot of people are going to make mistakes and stake short right after big payday and try and get their big payday and get out or whatever, and that's going to wreck a bunch of people, which is good for the strong hands, that's for sure.
see, I had to kind of reassess my strategy, because initially I kind of thought, most crypto projects usually last 2-3 years tops. So, I was thinking, well, maybe this won't last, so I tried to stake everything out for the first couple years. And then I started looking at my stakes, and, we had that conversation with Firebun, and I'm looking through and going, well, these are 50%. I'm only losing, a little bit. So why not go ahead and put these out a little bit longer? Because once you start learning, how the shares affect it, and the fact that we're never going to get a better share price than right now. And once big payday hits and the share price goes ridiculous after that first big payday person cashes in, and now you're in a much better position. And I'm kind of wondering, because everyone thinks that there's going to be, well, not everyone, people outside the project think there's going to be a big dump on big payday. And I think that the people that are in, if they understand what their shares are, they're not going to want to give up their position after big payday. Yep. So
I don't think there'll be a bunch other than people staking now. They're going to in and out, and they're going to be in and out fast. It seems like. So I don't see how that's going to dump anything.
I think the same story, because many people that might have started hearing about it before it was ever Snapshot, and then once they did from Snapshot, maybe they'd bought enough to where they staked it out. And if you understood that big payday was going to be effectively 2 or 3 or 4 times your stack, then I think there's a lot. That's what you see on the charts. At least you see a lot of people that their stakes end at right after big payday. But the question before was, do I cash out? And I think people like Trayvon James and things like that, they kind of popularized this idea that it's going to be a big dump just because of human nature. But the more that we're able to get content out into the world to understand that, yeah, you might have doubled your stack of coins, but I think a lot more people are going to spread that win, that stack, I think they're going to spread it over the next 5 to 10 years. I think they're going to divvy their winnings up over 5 to 10 years and increase their holdings in the future. And I don't think you'll see a cash dump. I don't think you'll see Uniswap dump the levels that people were thinking that it might.
But see, that's the catch, though, is if you cash in right after big payday, you're not going to get the share price that you're getting now. So it actually takes all that much more hex to get the same amount of shares.
Of course.
So it's better now, if you're in it for the long term, to go ahead and stake out before the big payday happens. Because if you cash out after big payday and try to restake that hex, you cannot get that share price. And that share price is now going to be based on what that return was, and it's going to go ballistic. Yeah. So it's like you might have 3% of the pot. Now you only have 1% of the pot.
What do you think, Crypto Power Talk?
Paid too quick.
What do you think, mate? Crypto Power Talk, what do you think?
Well, I don't understand how shares work exactly. But Johnny, what you're saying is that if you sell and then you buy and then you stake, you won't get the same returns as if you just stake the whole way through.
Yeah, and then if you stake
you'll never outbeat your stake.
And if you stake early, if you get out too early, too quickly, what you've done is you've wrecked your stake by buying shares that are so when you go to buy your shares, it's basically just a marker for the amount of hex that you put into stake. So it says, okay, well, you're going to put this hex in, you're going to get this many shares for that hex. Now, if you stake those longer, you're getting a lot more shares for that hex. And then at that point, now you've increased your share amount. So now the value of that hex at the end is going to grow exponentially because of interest that it's going to gain because of the share price changing throughout the years. See, that's the other variable that we don't really see. It's one thing to stake long and get a better amount of shares for staking long, but it's another thing at the end when you realize the value of those shares out past the 4.5-5 year mark, because the 4.5-5 year mark is the average, and that's when things start to grow exponentially. And if you listen to Good Texture did a video about it too, talking about how the value starts to really kick up. And I've heard people even talking about 80 times the amount of value in your interest. So, and I know those are just, predictions and math being run on different models, but that's the type of share price you're looking at in the future.
Because shares deflate and
kind of sort of
hex inflates.
Simplify it. To kind of sort of simplify it, say you have 100 hex, okay, and you cash it out at 120 hex, okay. The amount of shares that you had at 100 hex now costs you 120 to get back in. So it exponentially, you see, because that's the new share rate. So when anybody exits their stake, the greatest amount of gains becomes the new share rate. So if you start with 100 hex and it gives you 100 shares, now it takes you 120 hex to get the 120. It takes the 120 shares to get the 100 hex.
It's just a little more skewed than that.
I think it's like plus a day as well.
Just basically.
Yeah.
It continuously goes up.
So, not to get off subject, but there was something I was talking about earlier with this exchange that I was trying to run some coins through. People have been talking about it. Changely. I heard about Changely. I tried to use it and it wouldn't let me use it. I got kicked off it because of having a U.S. account. Anybody understand that?
Because you're a naughty boy.
Probably.
Was it? I don't know if you want to say or not, but Bittrex, Gemini, and
Bittrex.
So if it's Bittrex, there's Bittrex U.S. citizen version, and there's Bittrex everywhere else in the world. So you're using a VPN?
I guess I need to do that, huh? I thought I had my VPN.
Exchange.
But now you've already had the KYC. You gave a lot of KYC in order to get your claim back, so I don't think a VPN matters to you.
No. I already. It was. You're talking about my Bittrex account.
I don't know, but I was just saying Bittrex is one that, you know, they said like there's a Binance US and there's a Binance everywhere.
No, I'm talking about Changely. I don't have any problems with Bittrex. I can move shit out of Bittrex if I want, but you know, I can't. I just wanted to move it into Change. I looked to buy on Changely because people were talking about it. So I was looking there. I was trying to move some things around. I looked at Changely and I couldn't use Changely.
Yeah, Changely. I think Shapeshift. I mean, almost all of them.
Shapeshift part of it. Yeah. So that's what I did. I went to Shapeshift, and one of the wallets they say to use is Changely or whatever. And so I went and Changely. Oh, I heard about this, so I tried it, but it wouldn't let me.
Rizology on the chat saying that Changely has no KYC.
Yeah, it wasn't KYC, but as soon as I tried to use my debit card on that, it
Okay. So you couldn't actually. Well, at least the transfer didn't go through. So
yeah, it didn't let me do it.
could be your card, could be your bank, or something else.
My bank, I've got that thing. I got that thing wide open, man, so I can just get whatever I want. I tried getting on buying on what you call it too. That wire.
Yep. Straight to MetaMask.
And they let me do one good transaction, and then after that they wanted KYC before they let me do another transaction.
I haven't tried that.
Yeah.
I haven't tried that one yet.
I try everything. Try a little bit of everything.
Yeah, give it a go. Yeah, why not?
See what works, how you can move things, how things operate.
We don't realize how easy it is.
Some fudder he messaged me today. I've been getting these strange messages from people. I mean, like conspiracy theory people on, what this person's doing in HEX and what's this just weird shit people are coming up with. And then, so I offered this FUD guy some HEX. I said, well, look, we had a good conversation. I said, I'm not going to call you a motherfucker, even though I think you are, but here's what I know about HEX, and here's why I'm doing what I'm doing. So, basically told him a nice way to fuck off. I said, hey, I'll give you some HEX. You go try it yourself and tell me how it works. And he couldn't. So I was like, okay, no problem. So be it. But whatever.
So did you hear Good Texture's wild card on shares where he was talking about the guy that had staked like 18 billion? And if he unstakes, he's going to make the most amount of profit, and that's going to make the shares jump up in price, like ridiculously, if that person unstakes at any point in time. So there's that wild card factor.
But that was Genesis Whale's stake, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I would challenge some of the maths on that because, when you're doing the calculation, and this is probably getting into the equation a little bit, but how, if you say that the highest return on investment based on the principal, without considering the penalties. So how, if you're being penalised, if you've done less than your 90 days, or if you're under halfway, do you get the highest ROI when the penalties are going to chomp your principals potentially? So how is that a better high ROI?
Well, I think it's going to be based on the actual return. I think
you
that
might
would
get
be
more
calculated out after.
So take a look at the live comments. Good Texture is saying that that's incorrect.
Yeah, he said he said his theory was wrong, that he didn't do the math right, or he was drinking or something that night. I don't know.
But if the guy
Conrad's
did, at the end of the stake, the guy is going to make the biggest amount of profit there is, and it is going to set the share rate at that point.
It may or may not be the one that Richard, I think he did make a thing about, someone walks in with 50 grand, basically says, I'll check on it in 10 years. That might have been that kind of guy. And that might have been what got bought originally. But you got to say, do I nuke that bet in the casino right now and definitely lose, or do I wait out the time? And that's what a lot of people have to look at, is to say, okay, do I cash out now? Am I going to pass this, 5-year-old's marshmallow test? Am I going to wait for my 2 marshmallows or eat the one right now? That kind of thing. So it's amazing gamemanship.
Definitely. Have any of you guys emergency unstaked?
You want to bring?
Nah.
One of the other guys
0.
in RG.
Is
I
there
did before I just
somebody
put
else?
this, unfortunately.
There's nobody else waiting. There's nobody else waiting.
There's
They're all-
mine. That's how much penalties I've paid, brother.
Sure.
Get into that.
Penalized.
I've got no hex anyway, so I just do it for the love.
Oh shit, my camera was off.
I was wondering what you're doing. I was like,
Oh, you're being private.
yeah, I did.
Oh no, I was just like I didn't.
But you
I
had a
must-
horse in the back there or something.
Yeah, I stood up for a second.
I got Conrad, who was awesome, by the way, the other day on the stream. He sent me a message and said, "Hey, mate, I saw the replay, and you've got some material in there you might want to edit out so they don't ban your show." Did you guys see the horse? The
I
horse.
heard about the horse. Yeah. There was an Italian politician that used to get into that back in, this is a long time ago, in the early days.
So just to be honest here, the video was of a vet taking care of business. You know what I mean? It wasn't like it was some kind of but it was a vet that was handling the business.
Makes it better.
It doesn't make it any better, but it wasn't like it. It
Wait a
was more of
minute,
an
I have a degree.
educational. It was more of an educational video than it was a porn.
So it sounds like you're digging a hole there.
So
Oh my god.
Where Jerry can't hold his camera straight now.
Education.
yeah, I mean, and then Hex was like,
Take my
dude,
breath away.
they cancel my show and yours is still.
What's going on with our King Shill? What's going on with the big Shill and the Hexo getting bloody stopped on YouTube? I suppose there's been a fair bit around the grounds on that.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? Well, I'd like to see if he gets reinstated, to be honest, because they've reinstated everybody else, and he is by far the. I've never seen any violations of anything on his show, to be honest. I mean, he doesn't have his show marked for kids, and he doesn't have anything on there that's really, edgy at all. I mean, he's honest. He doesn't give financial advice. He jokes about it all the time, which
Yeah.
I think that the have you guys ever watched Tucanair, what's his name?
Trayvon.
Trayvon. His shows, he talks about he has a very legal disclaimer on his show when it starts, and obviously he's been through the ringer with all that, but his says that he's not persuading, and this is in no way to persuade you, because I think that's probably what the legal language really is persuasion. Are you persuading people to get involved in things? And that's where you got to look at it and go, look, in no way are we persuading anybody. This is for fun. This is what we do on the side.
Isn't that what you call marketing?
Well,
Persuading people.
Isn't that
Yeah,
what YouTube makes its money off of? Is by selling ads on top of your content so they can persuade you to buy.
Yeah, like those crypto card ads that I keep getting and the buy Bitcoin ads that I keep getting on my YouTube all the
I
time.
mean, I haven't gotten anything out of my $10,000 I sent to Ty Lopez for my knowledge. Where's my knowledge?
but you can have all these coin shows that pitch like, buy my $300 penny, or buy my $5,000, Kobe rookie card or whatever, I mean, and they have these shows that make these things like they're a big fucking deal, and I don't understand why crypto is any different, because it really, they've labeled it, it's worthless. It's not an asset. It's not this, it's not that, or it is an asset. It's not a currency and all this other stuff. So I don't know why it doesn't sit in the same
Category. Yeah.
category. I guess maybe because of some of the
I want to know where all the statistics are on all those other coins. I mean, how many websites do they have with the statistics, and how complex are they? Oh wait, here's our one website. Buy our coin.
Yeah.
I mean, Hexo's got a whole show based on statistics because the statistics of this coin is so complicated. It needs its own news show.
I remember back in 2017, there was this one guy who basically he had long hair. He took 3 different photos of himself on the founders page of an ICO and stuff, and he managed to get himself like $2.5 million in ICO. He returned all the money to everybody. He just did it as a joke, but he was just saying how people would fall for it. You know, literally 3 exact pictures of himself, just, you know, one with his hair up, another one with his hair down.
I mean, there was during the ICO craze. I mean, that's it. You know, people would say, I did my research because he has a LinkedIn page. And, you know, you would see that guy wasn't even the real guy on the LinkedIn page or whatever it was, you know. So
I read the white paper. I mean, I saw a lot of these crypto influencers fucking like, I'm more holier than thou because thou has time to read the white paper, and then half of those they're basically wallpaper, but half of those are just copy and paste from other projects and everything.
And at the bottom, it would even say in the white paper, "You will lose all your money." People would like, okay, let me do it. The white paper just says it over and over. You will lose all your money. You will lose all your money. You will lose all your money.
FOMO. I'm in. I'm all in.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's pathetic. It's pathetic. Yeah. So what else is going on in the chat rooms, guys? Anything that you guys have seen happening? Anything in the community that's going on?
I'm again promoting to build channels that are other than the content providing you're doing right now. So I'd love to hear that other people might have entrepreneurial ideas outside of trading or outside of just, you know, commenting on what's going on in Hex only. Any other kind of entrepreneurial, like even my Airbnbs, I start to offer that people can get price off if they pay in Hex. Like, you know, 20% off of their Airbnb cost, you know, things like that. So I'm experimenting with different mechanisms.
I got a couple of ideas. I think, you know, Conrad Zen alluded to the fact that on some of his videos about actually using crypto, and I know that Gary has also said this about paying employees with their crypto. You know, that getting across that divide around, you know, having to have an each way bet on the fiat world and the crypto world, actually the utility of actually being able to use crypto to pay for things and things like that. But also, what was the other one? I did have another point, but that's one of them. But I wanted to hear from Crypto Power Talk because I noticed I've actually watched just a couple of your videos recently, and you've been doing an awesome job of shilling the old Hex. So what do you got for us, mate? Get out, get into it. Give us a spiel. Give us your spiel.
He's not in his car, man. He's got to be in his car.
Got to be in the car. Yeah, man. No, that's good shilling. That's really good shilling what you've been doing. I'm enjoying your videos. I'm going back through looking at them.
Thank you. I don't know. I think funding, Jim, your idea about talking about different topic and then incorporating Hex in that, I think it's a great idea. You know, I think that's a way to attract more people into the space.
Here's the other one. These social media influencers. Some of these girls that I've been looking at lately have got like more than 1 million followers. Like, we're missing out half of the population. Like, seriously, guys.
Yeah.
We're literally missing out.
We don't have any women that are willing to get up here or that we want to, I guess, degrade.
Google a girl named Corey Wood.
1 million followers. You know what I mean?
Just got to get
there's a pool can be applied to any kind of marketing that we want to do. So, I mean, there's plenty of girls that will wear a T-shirt, talk about, like, even saw something that said about Richard talking about Hex or something like that. I just saw pretty girls doing something like that. So they do it to sell cars. They do it to sell beer. They do it to sell tickets to any event. I mean, girls are
Hex sells.
Yeah, and I suppose it works as well, you know, using to sell all that stuff. But what about attracting women into, because there aren't many women in Hex and in crypto in general. There aren't many women. How do you think women get?
It's intimidating when you got, you know, people that have shows with horses being stroked. You know, I mean, it's not. It's kind of a good old. It takes a special kind of gal that can hang with it. Like like Annette and Grandma, and I mean they're just a special kind of gal. They can. Oh, we haven't seen Grandma in a while. I hope she's all right.
Just joking around, you know.
But you know, but we're just joking around. But it's not an environment a woman wants to be around without having at least a few more women around. You know, they always end up being the only one in the room.
They also don't want to show up on stream where everybody goes, oh, "There's a girl." You know,
and that too. Then we got all the plebs that show up, you know, and they start fawning all over them and crap. And then
all the Bitcoin guys, all those guys,
all the Bitcoin guys.
What's that girl that she's like there's only like 2 women that I can think of that do crypto conversations. I know there's Crypto Heidi. She talks about just about everything. She's a maximalist, really. And then I know that there's like this girl that has red hair and wears glasses all the time.
Yeah, that's
Naomi.
That's the one that gave Richard a hard time, and he.
Yeah. Oh, you mean those people we unfollowed for calling Hex a scam? Those people, yeah.
Yeah.
So and of course, there's Crypto Finally.
That's what I'm doing, man. They say Hex is a scam. I unsub them because obviously they don't do research.
Did you see Crypto Finally do her TikTok thing?
No.
She was doing like this very intelligent read of something that she had wrote down, and she was doing like she was trying to do a funky TikTok dance to it while she was reading it, and it was funny. It was really funny.
And then yesterday she did a picture with basically her titty out, essentially. So
yeah,
there you go.
And she does that, and then and my good friend Nerd Girl, she always is out there asking these questions to like just trigger guys. You know, she gets to all the plebs but she's intelligent enough that the plebs kind of stay away from her because they know that she's baiting them into some kind of a fucked up conversation, you know, and she gets them into some she does that. Yeah. But it's funny how when we talk about, you know, men and women, that whole thing pops up. I mean, because, you know, we're talking about finances here. We're talking about not financial advice. We're talking about finance. We're talking about, you know, a certificate of deposit on the blockchain. That should be something that everybody's interested in. There shouldn't be any man-woman tribalism crap going on. You know what I mean? I mean, crypto should be for everyone. What's that?
Well, I mean, it's kind of our base psychology. You know, Richard even says stuff I've heard before about risk reward. You know, the risk reward of going out in a hunting party or going to the casino or taking a chance on speculation, whatever you want to call it. That's kind of a male dominated area. And, you know, part of it goes to our dating culture. Part of it goes to our finding our partner, where you ask 100 girls and you get 10 phone numbers and you date 3 and, you know, there's consummation or whatever. We have a numbers game in dating. And with girls, it's more about screening out based on status, confidence, you know, basically these characteristics that we attribute to masculinity of leadership or whatever it might be. So they're more in a screening and safety mode, and we won't find them. I don't find that many girls at a casino rolling dice. I don't find that many girls fighting.
That's exactly right, but you're right. It's a numbers game.
It's a numbers game. Right?
I don't know about that because I've been to
a
lot of females
for a long time.
No, for men, it's a numbers game.
With their money.
Jim says
well, yeah, with their money, right?
Yeah, they'll blow anybody's money. I mean, that's
right.
easy
They'll blow anything.
Hey.
Disparagingly, I'm just saying that they're typically not the risk taker. You know, if you think about the idea of being intimate, let's just keep it PG for this. The consequence of a male is, 20 minutes of lost time. That's the consequence. And the consequence of a female is maybe pregnancy that leads to 9 months of carrying and maybe a lifetime of rearing a child. So the consequences are different when it comes to speculation.
You said PG and we lost 14 listeners.
We would get plenty of listeners if we could grab one of those haters and drag them into our box here.
It's at least NC-17, at least.
The red pills.
Right. Hey, thanks. Hey, nice chatting with you, RG. Straight up, brother. You're doing awesome, you boys. And I've been watching Funding Jim as well, and Crypto Power Talk. Loving your work, and keep it up. We've only got a little bit left to go in the launch. There's only 100 or 150 days left, so got to keep pushing forward and getting everyone that we can from outside of the crypto world into seeing how revolutionary and awesome Hex is.
Tell everybody about your show too, bro. So
My shield.
Rect is one of our cutthroats too.
It's just a practice.
Our chat and comes on the show when he can, and tell everybody about your little show that you got going on.
Oh, I just started up a variety show, and I actually taken a leaf from Funding Jim about a bit of variety and mixing it up, as opposed to sort of just going through the numbers and crunching it day in, day out. I want to try and I don't want I'm actually not targeting the Hex community as such, but I'm trying to sort of just put it out there. But look, I'm new to the social media platforms, and I'm just experimenting and trying to get use of the skills like what we are now, and actually being able to engage you guys is awesome. Because I mean, before, in fact, the Hexologist 24-hour stream was my first actual live stream that I had actually been involved in. So from that, it was kind of a bit of a spin-off, and I thought, now's the time, and Conrad Zen, like, honestly, the guy's awesome, and you've done that awesome interview with Firebun as well, RG. I mean, it's terrific. What I'm seeing is just so good that I just want to try and, add some value somewhere if I can. And if it's just me doing a vlog like old Adrian does, and he just shoots from the hip and says it like it is and what he's thinking and, using his mind, there's no harm in that, actually helping. And we are the network. And, it's important for people to get on board with this now, because this is the best time to get in.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So that's the
right.
shield.
Now, did you tell them what your channel is called though?
Oh, we're at the P155 Unwrecked Pirate channel. It might not come up on the search because I'm trying to keep it under the radar. I'm actually not trying to do any publicity, RG, but thanks for letting. I'll put it in the viral, but I want it to go viral. I don't want people just jumping in.
Hey, everybody here wants to come see us.
He's like, fuck y'all.
He's like, I don't want you guys running around my channel, man.
There's going to be semi-clad naked women involved.
Now they don't want us, guys. They're like, I don't want any of those degenerates coming.
Dude, he's going to make commentary about everything that's not Hex. He's just going to wear a hat, and it just like triggers the curiosity. It's like, what is that about? What is this guy doing?
Amplifiers, beer, whiskey, women, and song. That's it. Right. And I love Land Rovers.
Lord of the Rings.
I'll see you later.
All right, bud.
Cheers. Bye.
Yeah, that's excellent. That's a good point. It builds the curiosity. And see, if you do that kind of thing, as part of our natural instinct is not that you're trying to hide something, but because you're not overtly talking about it, it triggers that curiosity. Your ears perk up, right? So you can have something that might be just a leader, a subtle leader, like a hat or whatever, and it leads to people asking questions.
Right. Have you studied the red pill before and like the teachings of the things of like Rollo Tomasi? Because it sounded like you knew about that.
No, I mean, I've read a lot of books about marketing and things like that, but I've been in medicine and military and things like that, so I never really had to sell anything. People always were coming, to me, sort of thing.
I meant that more because like you explained it pretty well. The risks for women getting pregnant and then men getting very few people understand the women's perspective on that side, that it is extremely risky for the woman, because to get pregnant. I know now there's a lot more contraceptives and everything like that, but it's a lot more different. I feel like but I also feel like the risk for men getting a woman pregnant is a lot more higher now too as well. There's not like back in the day you used to be able to just skip town, right? You can't really skip town anymore.
5 miles away, live your entire life and never be found.
Not anymore.
Well, I mean, our psychology is still 50,000 years old. We use airplanes and cell phones and we're on the internet, but our primal load, as far as what we think of, is girls look at confidence. I mean, you can see that Mick Jagger is not the most attractive guy, but he commands an audience of 50 million people, right? So
status.
That confidence and is more of his appeal to the female gender than even the song. Whereas
big bag of Hex looks good too.
Yeah, for males, I mean,
big bag of Hex looks good. Makes you more.
Chicks dig it. Guys want to be like you, and chicks dig you.
Yeah.
Yeah. At
Long
different hosts in
steaks.
different area
They want
codes.
long steaks, guys. Long steaks. That's my dating advice.
Actually,
Long steaks.
Bigger pays better, baby.
men
Bigger pays
would be
better.
better about the steak.
Oh, bigger pay is better.
This is why staking is the conversation here, is because it is kind of a, it's a male conversation about who's got the longest steak. Girls don't care that. Don't give a shit.
Who's got the longest?
You think they don't, but they do. They do care about long steaks.
Yeah, I can tell you quite a bit, but I'm keeping it PG. Yeah.
Right.
Damn it, you did it again, man.
Thicker pays better, bro. Thicker pays better.
Does this mean we're going to be cooking steaks at the big payday party?
Definitely,
Throwing
bro.
out steaks.
Well, it is in Miami, so
There will be steaks at the big
I'm
payday.
like-
Ribeyes, baby.
And
Miami is a wholesome place. It's very, it's very, it's
so
a very
let's talk about
quiet
that.
spot.
Let's talk about the big payday. Let's talk about our party that we may be having. I mean, Hexo already got his tickets. He got his airplane tickets and his tickets to the hotel and all that. He's ready to go. So, I mean, it's happening. Everybody's getting ready. What are we going to do? Has anybody on the in Ryan's chat?
What's the name of that YouTuber that was very popular like about 2 years ago? He was blonde. He lives in Miami actually. He's a veterinarian. What was this guy's name? He was very popular like 2 years ago.
Crypto YouTuber or just a YouTuber?
Specific YouTuber. He was a veterinarian. Also, quit being a veterinarian. He was Litecoin might know him because of the Dragon Chain thing. I think he co-sponsored the NASCAR thing with Crypto Crow at the time.
Oh,
He was at that thing.
yeah.
You know what I'm talking
Yeah.
about, maybe.
Yeah, I know he's talking about. What's his
He
name?
stepped
Blonde
away
guy.
during the bear market. He was broadcasting every single day before the bear market, but he is in Miami. And I remember that when he hit 100,000 subs or whatever it was on his channel, he had like strippers on his big debut. I made 100,000 viewers subscriber thing. It was kind of funny.
Well, I'm down for the steaks. I'm down for some Wagyu. My best steak I ever had was in Florida, so I know they got good steak out there. That's for sure.
A lot of cakes too.
What's that?
Oh, nothing. I said a lot of cakes too.
Cakes. All right.
Yeah.
Look at the chat real quick here.
Have we figured out if we're gonna do like, are we gonna rent like some kind of salon or something? A salon. I mean, like a room or like a giant room or something. Or are we gonna do something at the beach or like?
Are
what
you
we
in
doing
the
for the party?
Are you in the chat in the Telegram chat for?
No, I'm not
Hex
actually.
Miami? Yeah, there's a Hex Miami Telegram chat. Let me see. It's called. What is that? I think it's just Hex Miami.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it's made by Hex. It's Hex Miami, and it's from what do you call it? Ryan did it. Ryan put it together. So everybody's in there. They talk about big payday and stuff, and what the party's going to look like. And I try to get us shifted over to Vegas. I just thought that would be a better place to do it. But Miami's cool too. Miami's fun. That's going to be a good time.
So, Gary,
you can do a lot in Vegas.
You talked to Heidi and Toby, and I noticed they did a new video basically on staking coins, and we weren't mentioned. Why is that?
Heidi did an interview with Richard, and Richard tends to rub some very sensitive personalities the wrong way. So I think that's one of the reasons it wasn't.
Who's that?
Crypto Heidi? What do you mean?
Oh! I was like, who are you guys talking about? I didn't know who you guys were talking about. Change
Crypto Tips.
Yeah.
Crypto Tips, the show.
Yeah. So they started talking about staking.
They were covering staking coins.
Yeah,
the ones that
staking coins, not Hex. They were talking about other coins.
like Celsius gets talked about a lot, or stuff like that.
See, that's kind of one of the problems that we have. Some people like Richard, some people hate him, and the ones that don't like him, then they don't want to talk about the thing that he invented.
Yeah.
I
think we just got to tell Richard this is a friendly sometimes, so we don't get friendly fire by accident. with Richard, you know.
Yeah. At Litecoin, I sent a picture to your Telegram, and it was the guy I was going to think of. I can't remember.
Let me see.
Anyway.
I think that's one of the things that's kind of frustrating, though, because there's a lot of talk about DeFi and DeFi coins and staking coins, and everybody's eventually going to get this and eventually going to get that, and we're doing it right now, and everyone's like, "Oh, well, we can't look at that."
Yeah, they've removed HEX from the conversation. That's for sure. And what's funny is that as everything else is trying to become a DeFi coin or a staking coin, and they're floundering, and they're and it's like, guys, it's here. HEX is here. It's already done. It's working. It really is.
6 months ago.
6 months ago, it fired off and it's working, and it's it blows my mind. I mean, it's that bad that they won't speak about it. I mean, if it didn't have Richard Hart's face on it, if it didn't have the website, if we would have had some freaking corporate looking website with like 6 dudes' faces on there and 1 woman, and they were all in their suits, and they were all the developers, and this thing would be talked about they'd be talking about it all over the place. For some
I think half the people or half these influencers just want a job.
Well, and that's true, because some of the people that I've talked to, without getting into arguments with them, that's been their I can tell that's their underlying take, is that they just want to talk about it, and like that one cat that sent a video out the other day, and it was on the Telegram channels. Dude was like coming out of hiding for the last year and a half because of the bear market. He had built his viewership up, and he had built his YouTube channel on the
Superman?
No, not Superman. I like that guy. That guy's pretty cool. I haven't heard him FUD yet, but I forget the guy's name. They threw it in the Telegram channel. Everybody was on him. I sent him a couple of nice little messages on his YouTube channel. But the guy comes out of hibernation, and the first thing
David Hay, yeah.
And so that guy, David Hay is his name.
Yeah.
So he comes out of the woodwork, comes out of retirement, and first thing he does is comes out swinging at HEX, and it's like, really, dude? It's like, I think it said something like, oh, you put your little brother's T-shirt on and went and picked on the nerdiest looking kid in the block, and didn't realize that he knew jiu-jitsu and was gonna kick your ass. And that's what I told him, because that's what he did. He like put his little brother's T-shirt on, flex himself up, and then started talking shit about HEX.
We need to invite David to come on the show.
That was a Dale Carnegie move.
It was a Dale Carnegie move.
We need to invite him over. Welcome to the Octagon, buddy.
Yeah, and he did, and he came out and he read up on all the FUD, because he put it all out there. And see, that's the thing, is that they're studying the FUD, they're not studying the coin and the white paper, and what they're studying the FUD. They're listening to other YouTubers.
But, the thing is,
with them. Fucking pussies, man.
Well, there's so much
on YouTube. Also, on YouTube, there's value in talking bad against HEX, because there's a large engaged community. So there's value in that. Like, I was looking at this guy. I think it's Clay, Crypto Clay.
Yeah.
Whenever he talks about HEX, his engagement goes up. Like all his non-HEX videos, they don't have much engagement. So right. I think people are going there because they gain something out of it.
Well, you're right, and that's the point, is that they're seeing the value. Like this guy that came out of retirement to finally start, talking shit about or talking about crypto again. He decides that he's going to make his big debut again, talking shit about HEX.
If you look on my channel, I have a 20-minute video that's a response, and I had sent it to David on his channel, in the comment section, the link and everything. And I walked through, not in a debating, fighting with him, kind of situation, but I walked through his video channel the past 2 years, 2 years ago when he was active. And, you know, you could see that on the date that he published about IOTA, as an example, saying why it's being added to my portfolio, on that day, it was the day before, 2 days before, is when
indirectly showed what a crap judge of coins he is.
Yeah, did he do a video on when he dumped it, or did he do a video of when he looked at it?
And that trend in 2017 was make a video after you have bought your stake, of course.
Oh, right.
Really dump it, because you could see that IOTA was at one spot. The release was the date that it was on the YouTube channel, and saying about why I'm adding it to my portfolio. And then you see a rise to go from, I think it went from $4.50 to $6. And then you see within a month, it was 1/3 of, it was $1.50, right? So if you were in that market, of course you made money. And then you look at it today and it's like 26 cents. So when you look at these people that say, oh, this is bad, Hex is terrible, it looks like it's just a total scam, make sure that you look at their YouTube content and the fact that they grew an influence of 100,000 people in 2017, and so 100,000 subscribers. But you also have to realize that even though I believe he's an integrous person in lots of ways, he did do things for Venezuelans. He has family that lives in Colombia. I remember paying attention to him years ago, but it is disingenuous to come in really out of retirement, like RG3 says, at the same time that Crypto Clay made video and he gets viewership, and you see this trend and you wonder, why is it that YouTube channel people that are pro Hex are getting flagged on the same week? Why is it that content from other influencers are coming out? You know, I'm not trying to, there's copies of Hex that are being attempted right now. I'm not going to say who they are, but there are copies of Hex. And those copies of Hex inside the roadmap specifically say, bring on 2 influencers in this month. And it's supposed to be right now. And bring on 10 influencers by this other date that's not far off of a launch. So you have to wonder, what is the strategy? And there's just gamemanship that's going along. But I'm saying, if you are going to do something you're going to call research about Hex, and you just heard about this stream, you just part of it now, definitely look to the content of the people that are putting information in front of you, and ask yourself, did they visit hex.win? Did they look at the technical specs? Are they showing you the link on the hex.win website and clicking it maybe in their video of the coin fabric audit, of the mathematics audit, of the, I forgot the other audit that's also done but not put out yet. That's basically, it is completed. It's just it's technical jargon about it.
He's trying to digmatize his old audience, essentially, because his audience lost faith in him because he left, right? So what he's trying to do, and what a lot of these people are doing, is like, okay, what's the most hated project? Cool, Hex, right? Let's shit on Hex. Let's shit on Hex, and if it blows up, I look cool. You see my sheeple. If you had followed me since the beginning, you would have known not to get into this project. You see, now you can trust me, and then I may return to my.
Oh yeah, it's easy. It's easy cred.
It's
easy.
Yeah,
cred.
that's all. That's all it is. Dude.
Videos about Wabi. Well, he spent a lot of research on Wabi. I don't see any videos about Wabi or about Pivx or about any other project you've written.
Yeah, I think I heard about Wabi from him, actually, if I remember right. Yeah, you're right.
So there's all kinds of things you can say. I have credibility because I'm recommending this thing to you that now is in the grave, honestly, and lost all your money. But now listen to me about this thing that is, in my opinion, has more potential than Ethereum at its launch, during its launch phase. And Ethereum was an ICO. This is a finished product. If you believe in rice because you like rice, you should buy rice. If you believe in gold, if you believe in timber, I think of it as a commodity. But the commodity to me are maybe these tribbles. You know, the Star Trek tribbles that kind of make more of themselves or whatever. So I'm thinking the trouble with tribbles.
Hex is tribbles.
Hex is tribbles.
Tribbles.
You put some in the safe and you bring more out later.
Yeah. And a lot of these fucking old influencers and stuff from 2017 have this huge, gigantic problem. They have a lot of followers. No one's watching them anymore.
Right.
No.
Because
every time I go on one of their streams, we've got more viewers than they've got.
Exactly. It's because they lost everybody. And then two, here's the thing too, like I say, one of the stupidest things you could do, like after this, whatever run up we get actually in the crypto market, when we get the bull market, one of the stupidest things we could do is leave. With you keep chugging along. Your videos, your views might go down and nobody wants to drudge through that entire point. But when the market starts picking back up, Jesus Christ, you guys aren't like, look at, I remember Data Dash. I remember Modern Investor. They didn't have any fucking views. I mean, they were like medium-sized, small channels. Look at them now. They stayed chugging along during the entire bear market. Look at them now. They're the two biggest YouTubers in crypto. Yeah. Why is that? They didn't leave. That's it. And that's the whole thing, is just being consistent. I mean, you don't have to drop a video every fucking day, but like if you just kept like dropping one a week or something during the bear market, that gives you a lot of cred, like you didn't disappear, you know. And then you know, and a lot of these guys, obviously the reason they disappeared too is because they were fucking pumping really bad coins, or a lot of I know this is going on in the background, is they were like, here, we'll give you about $25,000 of our coin, here you go, start shilling it out to your community. It's a smaller cap coin. As soon as one little small cap coin gets some, during that 2017 run, got some little bit of hype, it was like, oh, this got hype on it. Not just your followers would join, but your followers would hype the coin up, and then people see, oh, there's legs behind this thing, pump up the coin like crazy. And me as an influencer, exit out. Maybe some of my favorite people in the community exit out, and then the tail ends of the community, and then the rest of the people just get all burned. And then they're pump and dumps, essentially, is what they're doing. And a lot of them they made a lot of money, but they know what they did was wrong. You know, it's one thing putting your time and energy into one project and it failed, but okay, it failed. But you weren't trying to like lead anybody wrong. It's another thing when you know in the background already, you know what's going on, what time it is, and you're still out there doing that fuck shit, you know, and that's wrong, you know. And then that's why
I wonder if this is a search for redemption sort of scenario, since they're just speculating that Hex is going to do like every other coin. It's going to live for a while and it's going to die because it's like every other coin. So they're making that judgment where they can say, okay, well, I can crap on this coin because eventually it's going to prove me right, and then I can come out like a savior.
Well,
right?
yeah, that's easy to say in crypto because they've all failed. They've all failed. Every single one of them. So I don't blame them for that, because it's a real easy gamble. It's a real easy gamble. I mean, that's like money in the bag right there.
But they're wrong this time, and that's going to make them like totally on the wrong side of history, and it's going to really hurt bad.
I know. And if one of these guys, let's just say one of these guys, like what's this guy named? Dave what?
David
Hay. Let's just say David Hay was like pro Hex. He probably gained back his 100,000 followers in viewership power by big payday. Like it's like they're only looking at this from a negative side. If they looked at it as a positive side, like, oh look, like the number one thing you got to look.
They're afraid, bro. They're afraid.
I know they're afraid.
They're
what the hell
scared,
has he got to lose?
No, they're scared.
Drop shit in 2 years.
On this, it doesn't have utility thing, and it's almost like the fiat people talking about Bitcoin or the things that they believe in. They believe in Bitcoin, or they believe in Ethereum, or they believe in whatever DAI or stable coin or whatever they want to call it.
DAI.
How are you?
It has utility. It makes more Hex.
To another.
Yeah. Dude,
yeah, that's it.
Died, bro.
They're just
it's
scared.
a damn farm. It's mining without miners. It's mining without having to update your mining equipment, you know.
Well, and they're all
no
hoping,
building or cold storage to.
They're all hoping for Bitcoin to pop out of the grave and say, I'm back. You know, I mean, that's the other thing they're hoping for. They're hoping for that big bull run, and then they can, you know, go on their little maxi way, and, you know, and and none of them are really shilling any other coins, you know. Right. None of them are really shilling anything else. The ones that are being very, very cautious about it, you know, and that's probably, and then there's the other play, which is, you know, demonize Hex. Right. So, I mean, we're just the only reason this channel's here. I'm not going to go on and talk about other shit and other coins. I mean, we're going to have fun with the community is all this is for. This is to talk to people that are in Hex, to show people who the founding OGs who believed in this project from the beginning, and to put it in public record. That's what I want to do. I want to put it in public record. All the shit that went down, all the shit that happened to us, all the shit that we went through, all the stuff that we did, things like what Hexo just went through. You know, the hardest working guy in the whole project gets his ass slammed by YouTube. I mean, all that kind of stuff needs to be documented, and we need it on the record. And if it does all go away, if crypto all goes away, well, at least we gave it our best shot, and we believed in what we were doing, you know. But I don't think that Hex is going to be the demise of itself. If Hex doesn't make it, I think it's going to be crypto's fault and not Hex's fault.
Yeah. Well, I mean, now that I'm going through my head so many things, I'm like, is it Power Ledger or whatever it was? There was a Power one. There was
Power Ledger.
Power Ledger.
Neo. What's happening with Neo? What's happening with all these other
There
things?
was WePower also.
QSP or QuantStamp. I mean, all kinds of stuff. Like, holy crap. What happened with that? I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Most of all those coins,
I'm not going to talk about my alt bag. Never again.
Most
something really fantastic had to happen for me to go back into crypto, because I sold all that shit. I dumped it all.
You have any go to zero?
I was done with crypto.
Anybody have any go to zero that just disappeared out of your?
Nothing ever goes to zero. It just goes to fractional, you know.
Wobby.
No, they delist some shit and it goes away. It goes away.
They do. Yeah. I've had a few delisted. Yeah.
Yeah. But if it's ERC20, like some of these, I converted into Hex because I was like, oh, it is on Uniswap. Like I converted Salt, I think. I was like, oh, I forgot I had it on this wallet. And then I put it on there.
Holy
like,
crap, Salt.
It makes me cry. I'm like, it's really not what
Salt.
It was.
I lost all my Salt.
Salt's terrible, man. It was such a good idea.
Bittrex quit supporting the wallet and dumped all my Salt while I was waiting to get back into their damn exchange. I lost all my Salt.
Salt in those wounds.
But it's not worth the damn thing.
Salt seemed very promising. It seemed very promising during the ICO boom. I thought it was one of the coins that was going to move.
Because I had a good buddy talk me into it.
Of course, they're going to put that money back into Salt. I mean, you know, it was like a feed on itself kind of thing, you know?
Right. But the problem with Salt is that it's not competitive with bank rates in terms of loans. It's like if I'm going to go through all this bullshit and put my crypto up and stuff, it's like you guys aren't even giving me. It's like you're asking an uncollateralized loan, and that's the interest rate you're getting instead of you're doing a collateralized loan on your assets, and they're still giving you like the shitty rate. You know what I mean? Like it was like 16%. I remember at the time and stuff. 16% for. I might as well just take a regular bank loan for 8%. Like what the hell am I going to go to?
Well, the thing about a fiat loan, again, as much as we'd like to rail against banks, if you have a reasonable credit score and they say, okay, we're going to lend you some money. We're going to lend it against your car. We're going to lend it against your promise. We're going to lend, promissory, or we're going to say we're going to lend it against your house, whatever, right? So once you have collateralized it and they give you a loan, you have a rate, and that rate, maybe it's locked. Maybe it's a stable rate. It's not like a credit card. Maybe it stays at a certain rate. Like SoFi, SOFI is out of San Francisco, and they're actually pretty crypto friendly. But you can take $100,000 out through SoFi on a name if you have good credit with just your promise, and then utilize that however you want to. Put a pool in the backyard, go on a vacation, buy crypto, go to Vegas, whatever you want to do with it, and you owe the money. But what I don't like, and I don't know enough about Celsius, maybe others in the room know about Celsius or about Salt or other kind of lending platforms. Nexo, I think, is also one. But if what you collateralize it with, and then maybe 50% of that value is lent out to you in cash, if your collateral drops in value, then you have a call, like a margin call, and you have to add more value to it. But if you took that cash out and you bought something else, how do you cash out within 4 or 5 days to not lose your crypto stake that's collateral? How do you do that?
Okay. So, so there's two scenarios with that. So there's this scenario where the price of the collateral is going down, and there's another one where it's going up, right? Because there's two strategies actually. One, if you know, like we're in a bullish part, some people actually take loans on their, let's just say Bitcoin or something, or Hex. Let's just say I take a loan on Hex or something for a penny, take out, I don't know, a couple, like $100,000 or something, and then the price of Hex keeps going up. Once it goes to 10 cents, what I owe, essentially what I can do is just click an option and say, okay, just take 1/10 of my collateral, and then I get 90% of my Hex back, and I keep the cash, and my loan's paid off. That's the positive way, which is really useful for getting cash out and not paying taxes because it's a loan. on the way down. This is the important part, right?
Wait a
Is
minute.
depend-
You stepped
Go
on
ahead.
it there, because you did pay. It was a loan, but now that
Yes.
it's paid,
10%.
you paid with crypto. You
Yes,
got cash as a loan. You paid off the loan, but you paid it off with crypto. That's a taxable event. Don't get it mixed up. That is taxable. You paid with the gains on the crypto that you bought at basis. Now it's risen in value, and you paid back a fiat loan with that risen value. So that is a taxable
to the equal amount of the so it's sort of like you owe that money, and even though the crypto gained, you're only selling the exact portion to pay off that loan. The rest of it's not being sold.
Check your CPA, dude.
Okay.
Check your regulation, because you had say you bought Hex at $1,000 worth of Hex, and it's now worth $116,000 while it was acting as collateral for a loan. Maybe you had $1,000 worth of Hex, you took a loan for $1,500, and now you're going to pay off that loan, or whatever you want to say as far as the math. You had a gain, and the gain is the value of the collateral has risen, but that rising value is offsetting the dollar that you got. So you had a dollar gain. You had $100,000 gain. You may have pocketed it. You may have spent it in Vegas. You may have done anything with it, but you had a gain. And the IRS will look at that and say, okay, yes, you only put $10,000 down. You made $1 million off of the collateral rising in value, and you got $1 million in cash that you just paid off with that loan. So that is a taxable event. You have to be careful about that. It's the same sort of thing I was saying when you have the other side, is if you have a drop in value of your collateral. Because honestly, I've done this with silver. I've done this with silver and gold.
Really?
I've taken, I think, like 50 ounces of gold one time. I needed to do a remodel on a property, and instead of going through a loan process to get financed so that I could do the remodel, I just took the gold to a pawn shop. They gave me, I think the rate was like 9%. So it was a really good rate because I knew the person too. But they had the collateral, they gave me cash, and they're charging me 9%. That was actually better than a hard money loan if I'd done a hard money loan to do a remodel. And so the whole time that they're holding that collateral, then I feel like I can spend that money on a contractor, on remodeling, and get a tenant into that space. But then the market dropped on gold, and I think within the 4 months of my remodel, and I got a call and it says, hey, we don't have enough percentage of value on the collateral. Can you bring in more collateral to the pawn shop? And I think that's the same way that things like Celsius or ETH Lend or Nexo will do, is if you put that stake and they say, well, we'll only lend you 25% against your collateral. One, you're taking the risk because it's in someone else's hands. They can have a loss of your crypto. It is possible. Two, what your crypto is doing that they call utility, and it really pisses me off that Ivan on Tech was talking about Hex. Somebody had asked something about Hex in the chat, and then he said something about, well, Hex is different. It's the money from that isn't really being used to build a business. Whereas he was saying that on Celsius, as an example, what Ivan was talking about was saying that cash, that capital that you're putting in and you're getting 6% interest rate on, you're getting paid back in more Bitcoin or more Ethereum, so that your payment is in crypto for your interest. Well, that capital is being used to do something. No, it's not. Don't lie to yourself. It's not. Nobody is using Bitcoin collateral to build a company.
Nope.
People can get a loan. They can. They're paying for commercial rental office. They're paying developers in dollars. They're not using your Bitcoin and Ethereum so that they can, quote unquote, build a crypto business. What they're doing, in my opinion, is they're lending it out to institutions or individual broker traders that qualify and meet whatever the threshold will be, and then they're shorting the market. They're shorting the value of the crypto.
And they're gambling it.
Yes, 100%. That's 100. That's 100% what's going on. Like 1,000%.
And they make 10% or 15% or 50% off of the money that you gave them as a tool to damage your own crypto. That's what's happening,
And with those closed websites like that, they do have an off switch. And that's the thing about Hex that people don't understand, is there's not a freaking off switch. There is no exit scam, because you can still continue to access that contract through different means, even if the website goes down, everything else. And you don't have that with these centralized lending platforms. It's no different to BitConnect. They flip the switch, they're done, they run off with your money, you're screwed. And then we're the ones that are getting yelled at because we're the scammers. You know, that's just, it's fascinating. You know,
the only thing that they can actually, I guess, put a magnifying glass on to say that there is actually risk is the OA address. That's it. That's all they really have. I mean, there is no other. There's no other reason. I mean, the regular FUD out there, like you said, the biggest concern is the switch. The switch has always been the big concern. The switch is always what screws you. The switch gets you. When they want to turn it off, when they don't want you to get your money out, when they don't want you to move your money, when it shoots up and they want you to hold, you know, they can turn that sucker off anytime they want. And that's always been the big risk. And nobody really ever talks about that either. Is what's funny is that they promote all these projects like IOTA and all that, but nobody ever really says, hey, when are we going to stop this whole thing with them being able to shut down their network? Or like when Bitcoin Cash came out and Coinbase backed them up and shut the whole system down so that their coin, you know, they can do their insider trading bullshit that they got called on, by the way, that they got caught with their hands in the cookie jar. I think even some of their employees were made scapegoats because of that whole issue. I remember that night. It's not, it wasn't, that was on the up and up. So why aren't they talking about that shit and versus, you know, because Hex doesn't have that. You don't have that risk. You have an address that has a bunch of Hex in it, but there's
it's not a limited coin. It's not it's not one of those coins that can only be traded here or there or just through the website or whatever. You get those kind of things too. It's on 30 exchanges, so you can sell it anywhere. You know, there's no single.
Well, Uniswap and
go ahead.
Uniswap and Kyber Network, these dexes, even whatever the other ones are, even though they don't have a lot of volume on the other ones. Uniswap obviously has volume. That's where most people are going to and trading. But what people don't realize, it's a smart contract that sits on Ethereum as well. So even the Uniswap people can't turn off Uniswap. Liquidity can be removed, or
they love to kick us out, but they can't.
But you can't. I mean, yeah, you can't, and that's only because nobody has built a Uniswap interface other than hexdex.win, so or whatever it is, hexdex.win. Yeah. So that's basically still utilizing the same contract that Uniswap is using as an interface. It's using the same. You could build one that's RG3 could do one, and he could do one that's all pirate theme, and you just trade ERC20s using the same Uniswap code. You know something people don't talk about. Anybody here can do it.
Yeah. No one talks about fucking Vitalik dumping as well. He dumped at the all-time high. He dumped at 1,300.
Yeah, and then everybody's forgiving your boy too. Everyone all his Litecoin too.
Yeah. We still get shit for Charlie and stuff, but Vitalik can do no wrong.
He's been forgiven. He's been forgiven.
No, yeah, but it was like the most like he was forgiven in like a week. Like literally, no one brings it up. No one brings it up,
and he dumped.
And Charlie gets shit on every fucking time.
Of course, this is parabolic. I don't think this is smart. I don't think it should be this price. And then he sold it, of course. And Tesla, I think that Elon said the same thing. He's like, Tesla is way too expensive right now. I don't think that he had to declare that he sold any, because I don't think he sold any. I think he's just, hey, I'm going to continue building my company. Yeah,
no, that's what I don't understand is that's the one thing that they all cling to. That's the only thing they have to cling to. Really, honestly, that's the only thing that they've got because the whole project is set up perfectly. The code's
and Richard is actually smart enough to know how to move money without affecting the price. We have a founder who does know how to move without affecting the price.
Well, I mean, it was
as where earlier other projects they don't care.
Yeah. Well,
it was commented on earlier, and the easiest way to move money, to access money, is to take a loan against it for multiple reasons. So, Litecoin just said about taxation, and was talking about taking loans, and it's true that if you have a stable enough currency and someone wants to lend fiat against it, which maybe big brokerages, maybe big whales would do, maybe Conrad Zinn, who knows? But what I'm saying is, if you need capital, taking a loan against that asset, and especially if you do it declared and legal and everything like that, I would rather take capital out in a loan and then lose it in marketing, lose it in some idea or innovation, because I have all kinds of other businesses that may have income in them that I want to offset that income with this loss. There's all kinds of reasons that you can utilize cash capital against a collateral, whatever that collateral is. And certain cryptos are more and more recognized as collateral asset. You know, okay, here is a coin that I can hold in a ledger, you know?
Yeah. And it's a lot of people don't remember this part, but it's pretty hard actually to get a shit ton of cash off an exchange into your bank account and stuff in a quick manner. Like you get, I mean, like,
gosh, you should see me trying to trade my shit coins today.
I mean, most people don't ever notice that if they're taking out like under $10,000, like maybe $9,000, $5,000, $4,000, it's not that, it doesn't take that long, right? But if you try to take out $25,000, $30,000, $100,000, you start getting fucking like, hey, what's Mr. Moses? Where did this money come from? You know?
Yeah, you have to ask yourself, who really needs, even as a founder, to take 300 million at one time? Who needs to start everything? I mean, who does, right? How about 5%, 10%, 20%? How about 30%, 50% of your holdings? Why do you have to sell 300 million worth? You know, that's
shout out Jeb McCaleb's keeps dumping on their users. He's dumping right now XRP. He said, I'm going to get rid of all my XRP, every bit, and he's using that money to enrich himself, obviously, and pump up XLM.
Dang.
Yeah.
Right. Well, hey, Crypto Power Talk. Let's hear. Go ahead and show your show. Let everybody know what you're doing, when you're on, and what your goals are in the future here. So that I want to shut this thing down. We've been going for a couple hours now. I'm gonna turn her off.
Yeah, it's Crypto Power Talk on YouTube. Yeah, and yeah, I don't really have a fixed time where I'm on, just as much as I can. You know, I'll try and do. I want to try and do every day something. You know, maybe start doing longer videos and learn how to edit better. But yeah, all with time. You know, but
it's honest, genuine, and it's laughing. And I love your short 10-minute little clips. I mean, really, I wouldn't personally change anything because I think you bring a lot to the good humor of this industry.
And you always seem to have a pretty deep thought on what it is you're talking about. So I appreciate that too. It's good stuff, man.
Thank you.
And that's I got a lot of requests to have you on, and I wanted to have you on too. So a lot of people were calling me and saying, "Hey, get him on. He's smart." So good job.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you for coming forward.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It's fun. It's fun to hang out like this.
Yeah, well, hey, on Friday nights, you know, if you're up at 3 o'clock in the morning, come hang out with us. The FN Hangout is on Friday nights, and everybody's welcome. I throw the link out there. Whoever wants to get in can come in, introduce themselves. If you want to, you know, cut your YouTuber teeth or your streaming teeth, come on the show. A lot of guys have done that. They've come on the show just to kind of get used to being on live stream, and they've started their own YouTube channels now. So we've got a few people that have done that, and you know, that's what I'm hoping for, is that we can just put, you know, it couldn't hurt to have 1,000 of us out there talking about it. It couldn't hurt.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know,
I think it'll do a lot of good as well. Yeah, to have 1,000 of us. Yeah.
Do it. Why not? We've got a
million.
better community than any other crypto out there does have. We have more support. I mean,
And we're not
did you
hiding.
see the support Hexologist got today? I mean, he like literally got shut down, had to redo everything, and he starts up on Dlive and boom, it was like he didn't skip a beat. The whole community surrounded around him, showed up, went in there. We're donating him lemons and diamonds and Ferrari or Lamborghinis and shit, and it was cool. I mean, it was like it empowered him more. It empowered the community more to actually, you know, move over to that other platform and support him. So that's the kind of community we have, and that's cool as shit. You know, that shows me that more of us need to be out there. More of us need to be exposed, like on this show. What I like about Discourse Syndicate is that there's all of us talking together, kind of getting things out of one another and showing our real side of us, versus, you just happen to sit there and talk to a screen about a subject that you have. That's a hard thing to do. Like I said, Hexologist the guy is a natural beast to be able to do that and talk to the chat and make it sound personable and make it sound fun and laugh and cut up with everybody. I mean, that's an art. Not everybody can do that. But if you can come on a show like this, everybody can see your personality, and see who you are and what you're about and your emotions about this stuff. That's what this is for. So, more power to everybody out there, starting up channels and everybody support everybody else. Just get out there and start clicking the like buttons and comment on their YouTube. So if you see a YouTuber out there, it's important for the algorithms to actually get on there and comment on their videos, just a little shout out or something to them, or ask a question or whatever, but just interact. And so hit the comments, the likes, and support the community, because they can't stop all. Well, maybe they could stop all of us, but we'll find another place. I think that Dlive is going to end up turning into our platform for everybody.
Yeah,
Twitch was actually pretty useful today. Also, I mean, Twitch still doesn't seem to ban people if they're not, really overtly harmful. I don't think that they're banned crypto specific yet.
Yeah. I don't know what this was all about, but we will find out. Well, it's going to be interesting to see if he gets reinstated or not. If he doesn't, that's going to really, really, really show a bias, not only from the crypto community, but from outside of the crypto community. And man, what a wrong side of history to be on.
Right. Yeah.
What a wrong side of history to be on.
Yeah. Hey, Finding Jim, you have a show
tomorrow. But they also removed Bitcoin.com's YouTube page. I'm thinking maybe they could be trying to get people off slowly, because last time when they took off a lot of people at once, there was a lot of uproar. Maybe they just trying to get people, get rid of people one by one, so that
might be.
Well, there's a lot of people are putting on live streams, and then they're saying, "Send me 1 Ethereum, I'll give you 10 back," kind of stuff. That's what I've heard.
Yeah. Right on. Well, hey, chat room. Thanks everybody. Good texture. All of you guys in the chat room. Appreciate all of you coming and joining us and hanging out. We have a lot of people in here. If you're on the YouTube, like, comment, subscribe, leave us a little message. And liked it, fuck you, whatever. That's cool with me. Anything makes the algorithms happy. So with all that, thanks guys. Johnny, Litecoin, my partner there, and gifting funding Jim, thanks for coming on. Appreciate you. And thanks a lot for hanging out with us, Crypto Power Talk. Appreciate you, bud. Good luck to you on your stream. Anybody else got one last thing to say before I shut it down?
New podcast tomorrow, man.
You got one?
I've been
got one, yeah.
Litecoin his streams. I know that you're doing your sound. It's just a podcast, right? It's not.
Yeah, it's just a podcast on like 12 different platforms and everything. I'm having the community lead for Celsius. Actually, I'm interviewing him tomorrow.
That's awesome.
Nice.
Yeah.
Alex a few times. He's a very smart guy. He does all the VoIP, all his history, a lot of patents. I mean, it's excellent.
Definitely.
So curious to hear about it.
Yeah, he's a really cool guy. I'm trying to set up an interview with him, but I'm going to talk with his number 2 and then see if I can set it up eventually. I'm trying to see if maybe start the conversation eventually one day, like to get maybe HEX maybe on that platform for lending if they want to, if that's possible. We'll see.
Cool. All right, fellas, you guys have a good one. We'll see you guys all on Wednesday, Discourse Syndicate, Wednesday night. And then don't forget Friday Night Hangouts coming up, getting close. Get your balls out, guys. Let's see it. Come on.
Come to the 5-hour podcast for the 5-hour live stream on the FN Hangout.